Hello, and welcome to my Nintendo World Championship review. As someone born in 1985 and playing video games since 1988, starting with the NES, I can tell you that the Nintendo World Championships is a true blast from the past. Today, we're diving into the Nintendo Switch version of this iconic competition, bringing back the thrill of retro gaming in a modern format. So, are the new challenges and game modes worth your time? Stick around as we explore everything that this game has to offer. First off, let's kick things off with the story and concept. Nintendo World Championship on the Switch doesn't have a traditional plotline. Instead, it's really a celebration of gaming inspired by the original tournament that took place back in 1990. The concept is straightforward. Players compete in a series of challenges that showcase various NES games from Nintendo franchises. So you'll be jumping and racing, platforming your way through challenges featuring beloved NES games like Super Mario Bros. 1 through 3 and The Lost Levels, The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, Metroid, Kid Icarus, Excitebike, Ice Climber, Donkey Kong, Balloon Fight, and Kirby's Adventure. It's easy to follow and incredibly engaging for both newcomers and nostalgic veterans. I'd say for newcomers, there's even an option to have some basic on-screen guidance for the challenge, and if you don't want it because you grew up playing these games, you can turn it off in the main menu. Ultimately, the excitement of aiming for the fastest times, competing in the weekly Nintendo World Championship challenges against the rest of the world, and then competing against friends is what makes the game's concept really shine. Now that we've established the foundation, let's talk about the gameplay and controls. The controls in Nintendo World Championships are intuitive and easy to learn. Each NES game has its own unique mechanics, but the overall setup is straightforward enough for anyone to pick up and play because, of course, NES games only had two buttons that you needed to learn, the A and B button. So whether you're navigating a platforming section or racing down a track in Excitebike, you'll find the controls responsive and satisfying. While there aren't extensive customization options, the default settings work seamlessly, allowing you to jump right into the action without any hassle. I will also mention that if you're using a Switch Pro controller like the one I'm showing here, and you want to change your button layout to mimic the NES controller layout, you can do so on the Switch homepage in the controller menu. I actually tested 3 controllers during my playthrough using the NES controller here. This is the 8-bit NES 30 controller. And then I also have the Famicom controllers that are specifically made for the Switch. And you can see they can attach right here, which is really cool. And then, of course, the Pro controller. I didn't actually, I didn't expect to try out 3 different controllers. I did want to try out, of course, the Famicom controller because this came packed in with the Japanese edition, and I did pre-order the Japanese edition as well as the American because I wanted to get the 2 Famicom controllers that it came with for free. And then I thought about it, I was like, it's funny, the 8-bit NES controller here, I had bought this to actually play on my analog NT, which, if you guys don't know what that is, it's a Nintendo that's full HD and 1080p. It's really awesome. And I am a huge regular Nintendo fan, so I wanted to get a Bluetooth controller, and then it dawned on me that this actually works for Switch. So I decided to give this a try. And it's great, but when you're playing these games competitively, like, my thumbs got so messed up from this D-pad and from the buttons, literally, that I got blisters on both of my thumbs. So I had to switch to the Pro controller so I could start using the joystick because that was a lot easier on my thumbs. And when I was using it, initially the buttons that you use in the game are the A and B button, and that did not feel right, so I switched the normal like A and B buttons to be Y and B in the switch menu, and that's what I mean by mimicking the NES button layout. That made a world of difference. So if you run into that, just know you can switch it in the Switch home menu. Transitioning now to the visuals, let's kind of dive into the graphics and performance. Visually, you're basically playing NES games on a Nintendo Switch, so the graphics are not meant to be great. With that said, the graphics are vibrant and colorful as far as the NES games go, and they stay true to the original NES games with the Nintendo World Championship overlay added to the screen. It should be a given, but yes, the game does run at a smooth 60 frames per second, ensuring that your gameplay experience is fluid and enjoyable. It's a nostalgic yet fresh look that I think old school fans will always appreciate. Now let's take a moment to appreciate the sound design in Nintendo World Championships. Right when you boot up the game, the title screen and menu has a really catchy early 90s feel to it that I really enjoy, so it's a really cool song. You guys will know what I'm talking about when you hear it. Each NES game features its classic soundtrack that not only fits the action, but also evokes a sense of nostalgia. You'll hear tunes from classic Nintendo games that are just as enjoyable today as they were back then. One aspect I wasn't expecting is when you're not working your way through these speedrun challenges and you decide to test your skills against the world in the championship mode, Nintendo added a really cool audience sound effect to simulate what it would be like to play in front of a roaring crowd, which I thought was pretty awesome. I did not know that they did that. So I was caught off guard. I was like, this is pretty cool. So overall, the audio experience adds to the fun atmosphere of the game. With all that in mind, who is this game for? Nintendo World Championships is perfect for fans of retro gaming and anyone who appreciates the legacy of Nintendo. So whether you're a seasoned gamer looking to relive the thrill of competition like I am, or a newcomer wanting to explore classic franchises, this game caters to all. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you'll definitely feel the nostalgia wash over you as you tackle these beloved games and their challenges. I think this is also a great game for anyone interested in esports or retro esports, since this is essentially a speedrunning esports game brought to you by Nintendo. Next, let's discuss the content and what you can expect from this game, because there are actually a few modes here. So Nintendo World Championships offers a fantastic variety of challenges across 13 NES titles that I mentioned earlier that will keep you engaged. While the main focus is on achieving the fastest times for each challenge, the game features a few modes that allow you to showcase your skills. Your main mode is the speedrunning mode, which has a total of 156 challenges. Then you have the World Championship mode. So each week, Nintendo selects 5 challenges from 5 different games. And it's up to you if you want to compete in the weekly challenges. You don't have to. If you decide to, though, the challenges run until 2 a.m. Monday morning, and then later that day, Nintendo will post where everybody ranked. And I like the way they did this because you don't know if the time you submit it is going to be good enough to beat everyone else. And it definitely made me want to make sure that I submit it the best possible time before walking away. So for me, getting S tier wasn't enough, because if I felt like I could probably shave a few tenths of a second off of this time, I'm going to try and do it. And I found myself doing that. Another aspect of this that I thought was funny, interesting, cool, I guess you could say, is that you put in your birth year in the game. And so, of course, I was born in 1985, the year Nintendo came out. and I am competing against everyone else born in 1985. So when the Nintendo World Championship results for this week are posted on Monday, it's going to show how I ranked against everyone that was born in 1985 that competed in that tournament. So it's essentially like you're competing against everyone who's the same age as you, which I thought was really cool because I want to see how I do against all the other old heads out there. And for all the younger gamers, you get to see how well you compete against people your age. So I thought that was a pretty cool touch by Nintendo. Next, you have a survival mode where you can compete against 7 other players' real ghost data. So you're not competing against them in real time, but I don't feel like this makes much of a difference by competing against ghost data because we don't have to wait to find matches, which I can appreciate. I don't want to play the survival mode and then have to wait 1 or 2 minutes to find 7 other people who want to play. So I don't mind that it's not real time. It really makes no difference if you think about it. It also features a local multiplayer survival mode of up to 8 players, which I imagine would be a blast. I'm going to try it out one of these days when I can get enough people over. Lastly, if you complete every challenge in the game, it will unlock the legendary trial. And so the last challenge for each game is a legendary challenge, and it's a longer challenge that requires near perfection in order to earn an S ranking. The legendary trial makes you complete all 13 legendary challenges in succession, which means you need to essentially post an S tier time on all 13 legendary courses with no break. You can't pause the game. You just have to do it. It's quite the challenge. And just to give you an idea of like what one of the legendary challenges are, the first legendary challenge in the game is for Super Mario Bros. 1, and you have to beat the game. Literally. That's what the challenge is. You have to beat the game. So yeah, very, very cool. I wasn't expecting anything post-game to unlock. Definitely wasn't expecting a additional harder mode, which I appreciate. Now, moving on to the difficulty and pacing of the game. The difficulty level varies from challenge to challenge, providing a nice range from normal to hard to master to legendary. Some tasks are straightforward, but to receive an S rank, it requires practice and precision. Each minigame is relatively short and allows for quick sessions, making it perfect for both casual play and intense competition. You can jump in for a few minutes or spend hours trying to master each challenge. Upon completing each challenge, you'll receive a letter grade score ranging from B-, B to B+, A+, A++, and S ranking. I also want to mention that I've put out a complete S-tier guide for each game that includes every challenge. So if you find yourself struggling to reach S-tier on a certain challenge, you can watch to see what I did to achieve S-tier. And I made sure to add chapters for each specific challenge because I respect your guys' time and don't want to make you have to sit or search through the entire video. So make sure you check the description box, which will contain the name of the challenge and a timestamp that you can click on that'll take you directly to the challenge that you might be struggling with, or you're just trying to get S tier, or you just want to see what time I got and see if you can get a better time than I did. Speaking of gameplay, let's talk about the emotion and charm that this game evokes. Playing Nintendo World Championships brings about a powerful sense of nostalgia and joy. Each challenge takes me back to really my childhood, filled with memories of friendly but fierce competition, late night gaming sessions with my brothers, cousins, and friends. You know, the charm of the game lies in its ability to bring people together, sparking that competitive spirit while celebrating the franchises that we all know and love. It very much feels like a love letter to 80s and 90s kids, and I'm completely here for it. Now, let's consider the replay value. The replay value in Nintendo World Championships is quite high. With the variety of challenges and the desire to improve your times, you'll find yourself returning to the game time and time again. The competition with friends and family adds to the excitement, ensuring that every play session feels fresh and rewarding. You've got the new Nintendo World Championship challenges to compete for each week, which gives you a reason to return to the game and play at least once a week after you beat it. Earning an A or higher ranking in each challenge unlocks really cool pins that you can collect. There's a total of 184 pins for you to collect. There's also a ton of player icons that you can unlock, which is essentially your avatar when playing the game. The player icons can be purchased with coins that you earn from playing the game. The better ranking you receive, the more coins you'll get. No microtransactions here, you just get coins naturally by playing the game. Just always refreshing these days. In total, there's 501 player icons to unlock. It will actually take you quite a while if you plan to unlock them all. I got S ranking on everything in the game, and I still have a ton of player icons to unlock. Now, when it comes to the game's overall fun factor, I can confidently say it's absolutely through the roof. The blend of nostalgia, competitive spirit, and engaging gameplay creates an enjoyable experience for everyone involved. So whether you're playing solo or with friends, you'll find plenty of laughs and good times as you tackle the challenges together or against each other. You can expect to spend several hours playing Nintendo World Championships, with each challenge lasting just a few minutes. The desire to improve your scores and challenge others will keep you engaged, making the total game time variable based on your competitiveness and how much you want to play and unlock, and also if you plan on competing in the Nintendo World Championships. As we wrap things up, let's reflect on the legacy of this title. Nintendo World Championships continues to honor the spirit of the original tournament while introducing new generations to the joy of classic Nintendo gaming. This game serves as a reminder of the passion and excitement that gaming brings to our lives, and it sets the stage for future competitive experiences that celebrate the rich history of Nintendo. I'd personally love to see Nintendo expand upon the Nintendo World Championships by adding in DLC with even more games, or better yet, give us a Super Nintendo World Championships. Before we conclude, I want to touch on the physical Deluxe edition of Nintendo World Championships on the Switch. This special edition comes packed with some pretty radical Nintendo collectibles, so if you're interested in seeing everything the physical edition comes with, I'll leave the link to my unboxing video in the description box below, but I will say that I think the physical edition is a must-have for any Nintendo fan or collector. Alright guys, now it's time to give you my final thoughts. Nintendo World Championships for the Nintendo Switch is a must-play for anyone who loves retro gaming and wants to experience the thrill of classic competition. With its engaging challenges that kept me coming back to try and improve my times, the classic 8-bit visuals, the timeless soundtracks from each Nintendo game, it's really a celebration of the gaming culture we all cherish. So grab your controller, whichever one it might be, grab some friends, and prepare for a trip down memory lane with Nintendo World Championships. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more gaming content, and let me know your favorite memories of the Nintendo World Championships in the comments below. Better yet, let me know if you've seen the movie The Wizard, because if you have, then you know all about the Nintendo World Championships. So Until next time, keep gaming, and remember, you're never too old to play video games.